Hi, I'm Mallory Hostler, and this is my case study for Truman Elementary School. Category 1, Problem Identification and Analysis. What I know. Demographic information for the district. There are 4 K-8 elementary schools ranging from 500 to 700 in size, 2 K-4 schools, 1 middle school, that's grades 5 through 8, and 1 high school. Specifically with Truman Elementary School, it is a suburban community outside a medium-sized Midwestern city. Grades K through 8, the largest elementary school in the district, which has 700 students. Each grade has 3 classes, 1 preschool. Grade 7 and 8 is divided into teams. There's 15% of school students qualify for free and reduced lunch. 5% speak primary language other than English, and it's typically Spanish. And the principal has been in position for 2 years, hired within the district, just not within the school. Other information we know is the achievement information. The information from the standardized national achievement test. It shows that Truman students do worse in reading than math, and they lose ground as a cohort and also from grade to grade. And you can see through the chart how there's fluctuation within the reading scores, and it's important to take note that they have progressively decreased. We also know perception information. The parent-teacher organization negatively views reading instruction within the school. They claim there's no spelling program, that students should not sound out words per teacher instruction, and that students are reading books that are way too easy for them. Some other observation information came from the district reading specialist. They found that there is a basal reading program that is being used for at least 1 hour of instruction in the day. Almost always whole group instruction. The skill instruction only comes from basal instruction. Almost no discussion of strategic reading strategies, and it is not aligned with recent research on effective reading instruction. Some recommendations of the district reading specialist is more time for instruction, balance to curriculum standards, working on comprehension and also phonemes and phonics. Also an idea of a balance to the classroom instruction, making sure that they are learning strategies to comprehend better, write about what they're reading, many different things like that. Delivery of instruction, both individualized and whole class. And also another recommendation is a comprehension professional development program. Some more on what we know is there's a grant that supports the implementation of research-based reading programs. It's available to districts in support of schools that house students in grades K through 4. We know that there's 10 to 15 grants that will be accepted to be awarded, averaging between $200,000 to $250,000. Covers activities over a 2-year period, and the grants will be made according to need, preparation, research-based, and budget activities. What do I need to know? Other things that I feel like it would be important to know with data is other assessment scores within reading, any classroom data that teachers are using or gathering, other demographic data such as the attendance rate of students or the behavior of students, or is there a big teacher turnover or change within this school that would account for maybe some of these reading deficits. What reading program is being used, any interventions that have been used school-wide or even just by a teacher. If there were interventions, what were they, and were they successful, or was it a failure? Other information would be awesome to get some outside data from the other elementary schools within the district, what their reading scores are, and if they are using any interventions for reading, what they might be, and are they successful. The problem within data is obviously the standardized test scores show that reading scores are decreasing throughout cohorts and grade levels, and basically the reading performance is not at an acceptable level within this school. The problem with the curriculum, they are spending an inadequate amount of time teaching reading, and the curriculum is not what is a research-based effective program. Problem with perception, the parent-teacher organization has negatively viewed the reading instruction within our school, and a problem with a grant proposal is making sure we get staff in district to support this grant. Category 2 is proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. Plan of action would be develop a leadership team, establish a team of teachers, district reading specialists, special education teachers, and principal. This leadership team can collect data, assessment data, demographic data, perception data, anything that would be helpful. Find a reading program that is research-based. District reading specialists could assist in a new reading program that would be most effective for the school. Develop and implement a professional development program that is ongoing to teach staff the new curriculum and ways to individualize student learning within reading. Address staff, district leaders, and community. All of the staff needs to stay informed, including paraprofessionals, reading specialists, title teachers. Need to receive support from the superintendent and board members within this process. Receive surveys from the community and keep them informed also with the process. Apply for the grant. Use the leadership team to help, and also other stakeholders to help with this process and keep them informed, and to develop a continuous improvement plan in reading. So we need to really look at the future and making sure we're doing what we need to be doing for students with our reading program. Strategy to implement. The leadership program or leadership team can send out perception surveys to parents concerning the current reading program. Gather more data, disaggregate the data, and use that data to drive instruction. Continue data dialogue throughout leadership team on a monthly or quarterly meeting basis. Discuss any extra needs within the classroom, such as more support with paraprofessionals or maybe an intervention time. For the reading program, find a list of reading programs that are research-based to have the leadership team look at, which could be guided by the district reading specialist. Making sure the reading program selections must have a differentiated and personalized learning piece. Once they get there, the reading team can narrow down to 3 programs and come in and inform all staff members, and we could make an educated decision and vote as a staff with what we think would best suit our teachers and our students. Professional development. Get training for our staff on the reading program that was decided. The training should, I believe, be ongoing throughout at least the first 2 years of implementation, and try to find any additional training on different reading instruction aspects such as differentiated instruction, phonics, comprehension, anything along those lines. And then a continuous improvement plan. The leadership team should continue gathering data as a new reading program is incorporated and use the data to make the future decisions for instruction. Sending out another perception survey to parents as the new reading program is incorporated. Ask that district reading specialist to come back and do more walkthroughs as the reading program is implemented. Create regular grade level team meeting times, maybe every 2 weeks, to discuss the new reading program, any data that they've collected, and try to have monthly meetings with all staff to discuss this implementation, how it's going with the new reading program, along with communicating with the district and community with any updates on the implementation of that new reading program. Category 3, resolve the issues based on promoting the success of all students. What is best for the students? Based on the findings of the district reading specialists, I believe what is best is that students should be receiving differentiated instructions at their reading level and be presented with a balanced literacy program and classroom instruction, working on comprehension, working on phonics and phonemes, writing, all of those different aspects. Provide additional support within the classroom. By providing this, we could assist in more individualized instruction. And also interventions. To best reach each student, intervention time may need to be implemented within the schedule at the school, and this could also ensure that there's more time spent on reading throughout each day. Data facts that support this implementation and in what is best for all students is the data from the standardized tests, the results that show that the scores are decreasing in reading, the observations that are provided by the district reading specialists with the need for a research-based reading program and professional development. Category 4, debrief the problem by reflecting on what you were thinking, feeling, and valuing, by identifying issues that are unresolved or open to further investigation. What I was thinking throughout this process is, how in the world do I get the whole staff on board, and even the district leaders who would be a part of this process? How do I get everyone on board and want to make this change? How do I successfully inform all parents on the change? And what are the steps after implementing the reading program? What do we do to ensure that students are making improvements? Some feelings of embarrassment that the parents had such a negative view on the reading within the school. Also a feeling of being stressed that I need to make sure to make the right decisions for the appropriate improvement within our students. And also really valuing the information the district reading specialist had with their support in their observations, and the further use of that district reading specialist, and the opportunity to make a change through a grant. Unresolved issues would be financially, if we are not approved for the grant, or if there are more funds needed to implement this new reading curriculum, where will we get the money? Will the district support us? Staff fidelity, making sure that all teachers are willing to make this change with the new reading program, and that they will do it with full purpose and full meaning. Parents and community perception, how will the parents and community members feel after we implement the new curriculum? Will it meet the changes that are needed for our students? Category 5 is reflection. How did you as a building level administrator use the data presented to respond and communicate to the larger community their concerns about the instructional reading program? I feel like I addressed the concerns of the parent-teacher organization by enlisting the assistance of the district reading specialist, who found a new research-based reading program to use. Use perception surveys of the families within the community to get views on the basal reading program and the new reading program implemented. Updated the staff, community, district leaders, etc. on the progress of the new reading program. How did you as the building level administrator use your knowledge of the policies, laws, and regulations that govern the school to influence and bring about positive change in teacher and learning that impacts all student groups? I was able to develop a leadership team to disaggregate that data. That data then provided the basis for our decisions being made for the reading program and instruction of reading and what we were doing to help impact all students. Found a reading program that was research-based, effective to improve all students' learning, and incorporated an ongoing professional development to assist teachers in learning new reading strategies and to successfully implement the new reading curriculum. How did you as the building level administrator establish an ongoing dialogue with decision makers outside school concerning the efforts of teachers and students, and how these decision makers can effectively influence and improve instruction and student performance? Had an open relationship with the parent-teacher organization to address their concerns of the reading scores and programs by pulling in that district reading specialist, and that specialist was able to help find a research-based reading program to use. Also communicated with the superintendent and school board about decisions and the progress of the new reading program. Thanks for listening to my case study on Truman Elementary School.